Hey there, you guys. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Bitcoin and Coffee. So I've been promising you that we'd do an episode that was a little bit different. I was thinking that, hey, why not do it tonight? It's a great time. It's a wonderful Saturday night. I know most of you guys are sitting around because there's nothing good on TV. I got my good buddy Josh out here, his girlfriend Katie, Samantha's over here in the chat, and we're just going to talk about all of this, and we're going to see what's going on.
Easy payments at a lower interest rate.
I think we have an echo.
Is there an echo?
Don't worry. No, we are good.
Are we?
I can hear. I don't hear anything now.
All right. So, Samantha.
All right.
Okay. You gotta love live streams. Of course, they're always messing up on us. So, as always, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna see what cryptocurrency, right? That's our standard topic around here. We're going to talk about the deep web, the dark web, and of course, you know, these dark markets, the chat rooms, all the illicit activities that happen out there and how it correlates to the cryptocurrency market and what I guess your beginning tools are, all the stuff that's out there. Let's shine a light on this, see some of the misinformation that's constantly happening. I mean, I even heard the government made the deep web. So what do you think, Samantha? What do you got going on over there? Do you want to introduce our guest today?
Well, I mean, we just did an interview with Josh because he's a bestie. And now we have his bestie, Katie. And, I mean, Josh has been in it for quite a while. What you got to say, Josh?
Yeah, I've been in crypto for a little while. And a big part about crypto is freedom. And that is... and privacy, and that is a lot of what the dark web brings, whether it be for good or bad. It's an important tool and you know, hopefully a human right.
I mean, yes. I don't know. I don't think it's all bad because a lot of the stuff that we saw, it wasn't really bad. It was just stuff that wasn't maybe legal in your state or, you know, borderline stuff where it's like, that's not even that bad. And you're getting wholesale prices. So really?
Yep.
What about you, Katie? What do you think about this? Are you anti dark web and deep web, or I mean, do you just stick with the standard Google searches?
I think initially when I found out about Bitcoin and the deep web and the dark web and all that, I so heavily associated Bitcoin and crypto with it. Like I literally just thought that Bitcoin was pretty much a gift card to use the dark web. I didn't really understand that it truly is a currency. And I definitely thought the dark, deep web were like the same thing and that there's no difference. It was all dark, and that's not the case at all.
That's what I thought too. I did. Like once Eugene started doing research and I was coming home and he was being like, oh, did you know blah, blah, blah? And it was like, actually, no, I had no clue. I thought it all was the same like level of stuff.
Yeah. And you know, if you live in China or Russia or someplace that you can't have political views that don't align with the government, then the dark web's probably a safe place to communicate. Anonymously. Right.
I think I didn't really understand why it was called the dark web until I heard someone refer to the regular web as the clear web.
Because it's all trackable.
So
the government's watching.
Yeah, dark doesn't necessarily mean evil.
Right, just kind of hazy. It's a little foggy out there. Not necessarily like, yeah, monsters.
So I told you guys I had been digging into this, right? Trying to watch some documentaries, do some research, get myself out there, right? Figure out what's happening. And it seems like to me, what I came across when I got out there and started looking is that people are under the impression that our freedoms that we have right now are just limited. They're only allowing us to have the freedoms just enough to feel comfortable. And as humans, we should be having unlimited freedoms. We should have the ability to opt in and out of the systems that are placed on us. And they're saying that this deep web and dark web are possibly the only places left for people and man to be able to be expressing themselves without these restraints because of the anonymity. But at the second time, the anonymity has also led criminals to doing bad things. But the government has been playing this as a card to allow them to give them a broad spectrum to do what they want. And that's where you start seeing, you know, WikiLeaks and government conspiracy and all of this. And it's, you know, tough to distinguish what's real and what's not real. But what is real is we know that they created the Tor browser, and it was to hide what they were doing, and they needed more traffic to hide what they were doing.
Yeah, I thought that was the weirdest. It was like, wait, spy stuff? Like it was like spy, like internetness? Like that's where, yeah, okay. I mean, thank you, DARPA.
So we made somewhat of an outline for this show.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, we have a chat.
No, I don't have a chat. So Josh, Katie, start talking so that they can see your pretty faces, because Eugene needs to come over here.
Oh.
Well, I was just going to say the Tor browser that you have to use to visit the dark web to ensure your anonymity, whatever.
Anonymity.
Yes, thank you. Anonymity. Well, it's now in the Brave browser by default. So it's reaching a larger audience in the Brave browser. Instead of having to just download the Tor browser, you can use the Brave browser, and right there just say, oh, open a private tab with Tor. And it's a little bit slower than normal internet. Takes a few seconds to load a page, and maybe it wouldn't be able to play videos. So you're sacrificing a little bit, but you're getting all this privacy. So,
I mean, I don't know. I do think that we have a lot more freedom than we do. Like it's an illusion. Because, I mean, sadly, I mean, a lot of these things should be able to get mailed and should be able to be stuffed, and you can't do it. It's not allowed. And I honestly don't know if when we did the hangoutness, did we change anything? Because there's nobody in the chat. It is Paul Rouleau from before.
It is Paul Rouleau from before.
You can see it.
No, I shouldn't have changed. It was the same extension.
All right, people, if you're out there.
Yeah, if you guys are out there in the chat, please comment. Let us know that you're here. Let us know what's going on. I don't know. I guess there's the possibility that Crypto or something could also be doing a video at the same time. We know how that seems to go.
I'm going to open up the chat. I'm going to open it up in my phone and see if I can.
Hey, there we go. Smart thinking, Josh.
I don't know. I mean, I have gone out here and preached to the woods about how cryptocurrency and the revolutions brew, and then, you know, there's this new magical internet money. I guess it could be one of those times.
Yeah.
We're out here talking about how, you know, there's a place where the freedoms are a little more than what you experience in real life. You know, the fact that some people are taking advantage of it and exploiting it for things that aren't good for human nature, you know, that's a tragic downside, but it still shouldn't be giving the government these free wild cards to be able to do what they're doing. Supposedly, if you look at some of the Snowden release stuff or whatever, we're seeing that it looks like if you just download something with the Tor browser, which a lot of people just use the Tor browser as a regular browser, you're automatically put on a watch list.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, I think they might even be able to get a search warrant just because you use Tor, which is ridiculous. I don't know if that's true, but it's ridiculous. That's why you should use a VPN, so they don't know you're on Tor.
But it's like, that's not even illegal. Like, that is not even in the realm of actually bad. And yet search warrants, and I mean, they will know that, oh, hey, yes, ping. Oh, we need to know this person. Really? Just for that.
I mean, supposedly there's no doing anything out there on the internet that isn't trackable or traceable at some point. I mean, they're still finding people out here in these dark markets, you know, these people that are out here with illicit photos, trafficking. I mean, I've heard of people, hiring hitmen on the internet. You hear a lot of fake stuff and scams with that, but you have heard about the occasional true story of somebody trying to hire somebody through the deep web, and trying to pay them. And then the cops were also onto it, or they were the fraudulent party on the other end and trapping the other party.
Yep. Oh, by the way, Paul Rulo says, I'm still here.
I can see Paul Rulo is still here. Buddy, I am glad that you're here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people here, I guess.
Nope. Well, I mean,
okay.
It's always Paul, but we also usually
it's
have
Katie's
people...
big debut out here coming to YouTube. We're going to try to get you guys on as a guest more often. I mean, this is fantastic. Sorry about the technical difficulties we've been having so far, but hey, you got to roll with the punches around here.
It is what it is. I don't know. It seems like every time we put thought and effort into it, there's technical difficulties after. It's like, didn't we already work this out? I guess not.
So there's some notes if you wanted to start bringing up any of that. I don't know.
So, okay. I mean, this is literally where we left off before technical difficulties, and that there may or may not be a chat. What are the main parts of the internet? There are more than just what we think there is.
Right. I liked how Katie called it the clear net. Because it is. It's the top part. It's everything that's searchable by Google. Right. It's supposedly anywhere between 1% and 4%.
That's not a lot of the internet.
No, I mean, they say that a bulk of the internet is everything that's hidden through password protection, a lot of company data, medical records, your emails.
Yep.
The cloud storage.
Right.
I mean, and then when you talk about the dark web, you're talking about pretty much onion routed websites, which require the Tor browser, which, create the anonymity. Supposedly it's anonymous. Supposedly they are afraid that the government can still track through some of this. That's why they also suggest the VPN on top of the Tor browsing.
Yep. And even if you're on the darknet, they can still see it. They just don't know your IP address. They don't know your identity. But that's why you have to encrypt your address if you're buying something on the darknet, because they might be able to see it. Even if they just say, oh, that's your address, that's him. Boom. So.
Right. If you give them any little tidbit, they might actually be able to do something.
Yeah, I've even seen on the Tor browser, it comes up not full screen, and I hit full screen and it says, warning, they may be able to track you based on the size of your screen.
What?
Or something weird like that. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because you changed the output size.
Right. So it gives them more to work with. Your data band is bigger because what? No.
I mean, most of what I found when I went searching was a lot of people trying to promote scams, a lot of propaganda. I mean, I think the newest thing is these mystery boxes, right? People ordering these off the internet and it being fake stuff or whatever, but it's supposed to be so scary.
Yes.
I mean, the cryptocurrency markets
really?
seem like they gave birth to the dark web. I mean, the fact that there is a money that is now available on the internet that also has some form of anonymity to it has opened up the expansion ways of people being able to get paid for not only these bad things, but also, I mean, a freedom fighter is someone else's terrorist, right?
Yes, sadly.
Yep.
Sadly, there's some side they're not for. Yes. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so what is the number station thing? Because I've heard it and it's creepy.
Oh, it's still the same as what it used to be back in the 70s, where there's a broadcast of just numbers being said.
Yes, and it's the weird meat.
I mean, there was more than that, though.
I mean, Bitcoin took it. Bitcoin is the #1 dark market currency, but I think it's really helped Monero a lot, especially. I think Monero wouldn't be where it is today without a good use case like that. But
Right, because it already is a privacy coin. So it
Right.
is
It
like,
has
oh,
it
let
has
me,
privacy
yeah.
baked into it. I do think that it probably did help Monero, because Monero is one of the original privacies with it baked in there. A lot of dark markets supposedly are accepting it. I haven't explored enough to know for sure on these things, but I don't know. Bitcoin is still number one, you know, when it comes to these things, is that the privacy isn't there. They said I looked at a couple of them, and they said that they have mixing services that, like, when you go and make your transaction, that it goes to that they're partnered with a mixing service, and that it mixes the coins before it deposits into your account. And then when they send out transactions, that they also mix them for you as well on the way out. I don't know if I trust someone else's mixing, but
Yeah.
I know,
Better
right?
than nothing, and I wouldn't transfer to or from the darknet straight to like Coinbase or Gemini, where they can freeze your funds.
yes, I seen that. I seen people doing that right on YouTube. They were showing like how to buy off the dark markets or whatever, and they were buying on Coinbase and sending it straight to the markets.
I mean, you could always say that was my friend and I didn't know. It was like someone, I was just selling some Bitcoin. Like, I don't know how they could really prove it, but
Yeah, but then you're still talking to someone,
Yeah,
Josh.
you don't ever want
that
to
right
be there with the
is-
shackles on, saying, you know, it's not like it seems here, my friend, and
yeah.
the mail, and I wasn't home, and the dog.
I got a kid. I don't know. I mean,
All his friends are hanging around.
a lot of them don't have internet. I don't know. Oh, God, right? No. I mean, yes. It is that you just don't ever want to have to be looking at the person with the badge and having to explain yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, but so besides the fact that, you know, everybody feels differently and has their own opinion on the war on drugs, everyone thinks that these illicit photos that people are purchasing are bad. Nobody should, you know, be purchasing people to kill somebody else. No one wants to deal with their credit card numbers being stolen. But I mean, the amount of credit card fraud has been on the rise year after year after year since it's been a thing. But what's actually happening out there that's good? You know, like, where is the positive in allowing people to have these freedoms, you know, and not just shutting the whole thing down, right?
Well, I wonder,
America can always,
is there any evidence that shows drug use has increased since the dark web opened, or that hiring of hitmen has increased since the dark web opened?
No.
not that I know of statistical data. We
Because
have
everybody
data
buys
saying
out
that
of
the
fiat.
amount of money that's spent on the dark web has started declining since 2017.
Yeah.
And the overall percentage is at the lowest that it's ever been since 2012 and the closing of Silk Road. So it's not necessarily that it's all about these drugs. I'm just saying, where are these positive freedoms?
I mean, I don't know. It is like how Josh was saying, like if you are in China or Russia or places that your country is super controlling of what you actually are allowed to put on a social media or on the internet. I mean, this is definitely somewhere you could go where it's going to take them at least a little bit longer before they behead you or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Well, the reason I don't think it really increases drug use because it takes dealers off the street, and instead them they're not pushing it on you like, hey man, you need some more of that. Hey, you should try this. You should try that. It's more of a pull system instead of a push.
Right? They are not on the playground. I get what you're going for. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, yes. They're not on the street corner. They're not on the playground. Like they are at their house on their cozy couch.
And they're not telling anybody about it because they don't want to attract that attention.
Right? No one wants to go to jail. I mean, right? It's embedded in human nature. Imprisonment is not awesome. I mean,
I love
Yeah.
that this show is just rolling and it's not anything that we wrote down. Because now I was going to say the next thing is like, how are they actually mailing this stuff without getting arrested? Because, last I had checked is that there's always, all these dogs and they say that you're not making packages and they x-ray them and all of this other stuff. Like my assumption would be that, hey, if I suck a kilo of, cocaine in a weightless box,
teddy bear or something, yeah, somebody's finding that, right?
Yeah, so then they're going to come back because my fingerprints are all over it and they're going to arrest me.
Oh. Well, you wouldn't put your fingerprints on it, but it is true because it's like, say I'm sending 20 packages a day. You would think they could go back and say it came from this post office. You'd think they could order one and say it came from this post office. Let's look at the footage. So it's like they got to go to different post offices and make fake businesses and fake return addresses. And eventually you'd think that would catch up with them. But, the government's incompetent anyway. So I don't know.
I think the last thing I had heard on this, and this is not like research, this is just me as a regular person reading Facebook feed, probably being fed news that's, propaganda.
But Facebook news.
I thought it was that they were integrating AI into this kind of stuff, like in the mail tracking system.
I don't know. I think
I
they're mostly just looking at international orders, like in customs, really a lot more than domestic, because so much mail is domestic. It's pretty rare to get something from out of the country because shipping's so expensive.
Yeah, I know I literally got a snack box from Japan that was just like candies and like chips, and it took extra long, and in the end it was re-duct taped and had a U.S. customs. And like they busted that box open and looked through all of the candy or whatever to make sure that it was. And they did take out 2 things that apparently weren't USDA grade something. I think they were animal like jerkied, or they were something that was not cool. And they took it and they left me a little Post-it note saying sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Yes. This is the things that you think when you think the mail, but just like I was saying, I worked at a convenience store probably 6 or 7 years ago, and the girl and all of her family were like horrible little weird pagan witches of loveliness or whatever. And she was talking about how they ordered THC capsules and that she got them from the mail, and that she had been doing it for months and months and months, and no worries, never thought anything of it. And it was just like, really? Like, I don't know if that's legal, but good for you. I don't know if it.
I don't know. I wonder. Sorry.
It's real quick. I had a friend that ordered some stuff and it was intercepted, and he just got a letter that said, do you want to claim your property? We seized some ketamine or whatever, and they didn't prosecute or anything. They just sent him a letter.
Right. I don't know. Okay, so this is just like how we went to the last festival and they were trying to search us, and literally the guy in front of us was like, I just took a bunch of Molly. And they were like, oh. And then he did not go to jail. We saw him in the festival later. He was just fine, got searched, probably got tortured for a good 20 minutes of, we're going to take you to jail. But guess what? He didn't. He was in there.
There's so many people. They would have to put half the population in jail.
We really were just like, I don't know, man. That's bad. And nope. He just went right in and everything was cool after whatever they did. Yes.
Well,
yes.
Festivals are like a different universe.
I know I would go to jail, okay? Somehow I know I would be the one that they'd be like, no, let's just set an example. Yep. No.
I know. All right. From our lives, right, we've dealt with family members and stuff that, they have addiction. They buy drugs all the time or whatever. And the problem is that you buy drugs from the people around you, right? And the people around you want to make money, and they're possibly cutting your drugs with all this other stuff but when you go to these dark markets and stuff, they actually have a rating.
Yeah.
And people are leaving real reviews of what this product and that they got it and whether or not it was cunt with fentanyl or whatever, and you're gonna shoot up and die.
Yes. I did see the star thing. I mean, I don't know. Because, see, yes, like, we have not actually. But, I mean, right? Like, I mean,
I
eBay
remember
has, like,
when
ratings.
we were younger,
everything has ratings.
Right, when we were younger, the thing was that it was supposed to have been ecstasy at the time, and it was when they had first started switching it off of being MDMA, and it was a bunch of, like, heroin mixed with, like, speed, and they were throwing in whatever into it.
I think the darknets have helped purity across the board. I mean, I've heard cocaine is a lot more pure than it used to be. It seems like MDMA is cheaper now. I mean, it's all getting exported out of the Netherlands, and I don't know. I mean, you should still, if possible, you should still test the drugs if you order them online, if possible.
Right, like the purple and the blue and the, yes, right, like this is what it should be. Mm-hmm.
What, do you drop a little of one of those pee kits? Does that work?
No, you take one of those little Q-tippy dubers that the police use that have the stuff already on it. You just swipe away and you get a color. Bam. It's not rocket science. They make it for the police. It is just pick a Q-tip.
What about you, Katie? You got some thoughts on any of this?
I think the dark web, in terms of drugs, it provides more accountability for the distributors, which gives the buyers more power. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
As a safety issue, just people are dying because of shitty cut drugs. Like,
yes. I mean, right? You kill somebody or something happens. I mean, yes, like that should definitely be a couple stars down or the whatever it is. I mean,
and a lot of these markets have banned fentanyl and banned child porn and all that stuff.
What I'm confused about is, if hiring a hitman is so popular on the dark web, why aren't we hearing about it more in the news? Why aren't we seeing these people being tried? And there's a disconnect there for me. I
still think they do it in cars with money.
Like, I think it's just a scam.
I think it is too.
I mean, I would post it. Yeah, I'll kill somebody for some money. Send me Bitcoin to this address. I need like $50,000 and be taken care of. And then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna come find me?
You're like, man, I came home from work and she's still alive. Like, how do I make this happen?
I'm gonna sit here and do absolutely nothing. You just messed up big time by sending me all that Bitcoin.
Okay, you get one bad feedback, but the thing is, you can have your friend, you can just transfer to yourself $10,000 a few times, leave good feedback, and then when someone real donates you the money, you just take it and run.
Right?
You can fake feedback to a certain degree. It's going to cost you a little bit of money and fees.
Right.
In a lot of these markets, you have to put a deposit down to become a vendor. But even so, if you just need to scam one person for $10,000, and it's worth it.
Right. You just gotta like move yours and your buddy's money around a couple times and then get one lucky ducky and bam, you're good. I mean, yes, it's horrible, but yes. And then guess what? Whoever was supposed to die is still alive. Darn.
We're getting some comments.
We do have some comments. D Good says Bitcoin and Friends, episode 3. Bitcoin says murderers wear shoes. So should we ban shoes?
I didn't see episode 3.
Oh, Truth Monster says I don't see an episode 3. So,
yeah.
No.
I seen that they did an interview with Cointelegraph. I didn't watch it, but I seen that there was a snippet for it.
I like it. I mean, it's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
Yes. Paul Rouleau says everything is illegal here, so the dark net will probably be popular when knowledge of it becomes more widespread. I mean, that is really like how me and Katie, like, there is a lot of people who really do think that there is only bad stuff, that there is absolutely nothing else that's happening down there except super bad stuff that you can't even fathom. Bad stuff. Not even like, oh, yeah, okay, so you're a junkie, or, oh, okay. No, like, the stuff that you really have, like, no concept of being able to do, that's what you think is down there.
I don't know. I showed a link earlier today on the Twitter, like the Bitcoin and Coffee Twitter, and it was an interview that somebody did with another guy, and I don't know who these people were or anything. I just came across it and watched most of it, and it was talking about that there were a group of intelligent people, mostly mathematics and theorists and stuff, and they feel that the only place that they can communicate safely and with each other, like freely, is in this kind of an environment. Because not only in person do they feel that they could be ridiculed by their government, or they don't know what the backlash will be, not now, but possibly down the road, especially if there is all of this government oversight. You know, what are they going to use against you as blackmail to shut you down when you start saying something that they don't like? But then also that they're eccentric people.
So this is like the Big Bang Theory and how these guys would communicate with each other. I mean, really, like that kind of like, yeah, so my IQ was like 190.
Yeah, I guess like the way Sheldon was on Big Bang Theory, like you wouldn't want to hang out with the guy, but you could read his paper on the dark web and understand what he was saying and take the advantagement of what he could give to mankind without having to deal with the frustrations of being in the close proximity with him.
Right, the punch in the face.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I know that show. Yeah.
God. All right. Vention is here. Vention asks, is Open Bazaar considered the dark market? I've never heard of it.
I don't know which one Open Bazaar is. Do you?
It rings a bell, but I don't know enough to say for sure.
I know that when I went looking, it seems like the situation is that originally there was Silk Road, right, and then they were closed down in 2013, and then Alpha Bay was the next big one, and then since they closed down, they've been popping up, and they said it's a whack-a-mole situation. Like as soon as they close one, 2 or 3 more pop up. Yeah. I mean, the big ones apparently right now are like Empire and Nightmare Market, and it's very easy to find them. They're even advertising on the browsers like the DuckDuckGo.
What one do you use?
I've been using the DuckDuckGo.
Well, when I first started looking at it, I was using the Dream Market, which operated from 2013 to either last year or early this year. It shut down. Apparently law enforcement had like infiltrated it and were working as employees there, so they shut it down. And then I was on one called Wall Street Market, which supposedly exit scammed and the people took all the money.
Ooh.
Empire, but Dream Market operated for a long time, and it was pretty easy to use, but you know, they have to have employees that do the moderation because they use escrow to give buyers some protection, and you can open a dispute if whatever, you didn't get your package or it was bunk, and then the website employees will sort of try to help you out. So they have employees, they have people maintaining the code, and that's kind of a vulnerability for them.
Right, because yes, that's how they apparently hired some undercover people.
Oh no, I was reading today in one of the forums saying that the Nightmare Market supposedly got hacked like a week ago, and they think that they're getting ready to exit scam because they're paying new deposits to pay old deposits, kind of like the exchanges do.
Yeah. They're just doing the whole ball trick, man.
Yeah, rob Peter to pay Paul.
What cup is it under?
Yeah.
Venton says that he likes the escrow feature of the Open Bazaar, so that makes me think it's possibly more because, yeah, escrow. But he says that you use it as well as the Purse IO, and then you have to release the funds once the product is delivered. That would make me think it's a dark market.
Well, I mean, it'd have to be onion routed. Do you have to use the Tor browser in order to access it?
I mean, I like the escrow. I do like that. No, I never got it, or I didn't like it.
Oh, you like that? You like that PayPal buyer protection for the drug markets? Really, Samantha? You don't say. Let me complain, and I'll get half back.
Right. Do you know how many times I would have liked to complain in my life? Okay,
yeah, that weed sucked. I want half back.
Sometimes you order a really cheap ounce of weed, you'll get like really compressed stuff, and it's like, that must be Mexican brick. Like,
right? Like, so did you just chisel that off? See, you know, I mean, I don't know. You know, I like mail presents, like in general. You know, it's surprises. It's like, what's in the box? Shake it, open it, yay! Yes. That Truth Monster says that he just popped a Heineken. Cheers.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Yeah, if you guys are out there, if you got questions for us, if there's anything you want to talk about, I'm not saying that we're experts. We're not trying to tell anybody to go out there and do any type of illegal activities. That's not what's going on here. We're just trying to be regular people, taking a look at these things, exposing some of the possible propaganda and false media that's being spread about this stuff as we try to figure out, what is it? Can we use it? Is it something that we can utilize? Hey, we're already in cryptocurrency. This is one of the number one features of cryptocurrency for these markets and stuff, is that everything is bought and sold in them.
I mean, it helps with the anonymity. I mean, yes, that makes sense.
I know, but I mean, still, it's this ideal of really, how private are you? You know, in the beginning, everybody thought they were private with Bitcoin. And now we know that you're not private with Bitcoin. I mean, due to Chainalysis, they know you might as well just put your name on it, right? And then here we are with the Tor browser has been around for a while now, like 16 years or something, I think is what we're looking at. How well is this onion routing? Like, well, I mean,
I've heard that if the government runs a lot of the nodes, so that they can sort of track the traffic a little bit. And the people running Tor nodes, you're not getting paid to run the Tor node. It's just kind of a public service. So if they have enough nodes, maybe they can put the pieces, connect the dots type of thing.
Right. Like, yes, if they actually have enough where they can be like, oh, so for the last 10 things,
so
it's
I mean,
this one, which means
for my
my
understanding is that onion routing is that, you know, the package is encrypted and the jump can only see the jump prior and the jump that it's going to, and then after the 3 jumps, you know, you become anonymous. But your ISP server can see you get onto the Tor browser. That's why you VPN at the beginning. If they're owning a bunch of them and they're able to track all of this, I mean, they say that the network is decentralized. I mean, is there a way to fix this? Is there a way to go even darker? Like, is there a way to make this more anonymous? Because I seen that there was other options when that you look at this, that there's I2P, I think is what it's called.
I don't know. I'm just going to make a quick plug for Eternity here.
Hey, yes.
Yes.
Go, Josh, go.
There were some people talking about, like, you could have a paid Tor network where you could pay nodes and you would get, like, faster speeds, and maybe that would help decentralize and bring up more nodes with micro payments and stuff like that. So I haven't heard anything about that in the Eternity community for a while, but that was an idea being kicked around at the beginning.
Well, I mean, just like you're saying, if you're just doing this to do it, I mean, everybody in the grand scheme of human nature, I mean, you want something out of your efforts. So,
I mean,
yeah.
Facebook has an onion route. Like, I mean, you can get on Facebook with a Tor browser. So
dark Facebook.
Dark Facebook.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, just think about that for a second, people. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I don't see what the point was besides the fact that you want to, like, bully somebody. But...
I know, right? Like, I just want to really poke. Yeah. Wow.
Is that a super chat there, Samantha?
It is. RJ gave us a Canadian $13.99. He says, cheers from Canada. Just cracked open a cold one.
Oh, RJ, that's amazing. Thank you so much. We absolutely appreciate it. We weren't really plugging much of anything so far this episode, but I mean, there is a donational address down below. All of that goes to the Tally Fund. This is a not-for-profit organization. Of course, we're always here to spread Bitcoin awareness. We go to EDM festivals and we pass out flyers with embedded QR codes in order to get you started with Bitcoin. We also put a hashtag Bitcoin and Coffee so that you can come back and buy the channel, because I do provide a free email help desk. It's via eugeneforest20@gmail.com. There's a link to that down below. There's also now a Proton link if you want to have questions about any of this dark market stuff. I've also linked Josh's channel down below. You got to go over there. You got to check him out. You got to follow and subscribe if you want some more of this Eternity news. up and coming projects, right? They're talking about the next alt season, and that good projects are going to be the ones to hold on to. I mean, Josh has definitely turned me on to Eternity a little bit. I check the price of it every time I'm checking the market now. It's something to keep your eye on, right? And I'm sure if you listen to Josh for a little bit, he'll turn you on to Eternity. Maybe we can all make some bags, get some more Bitcoin.
Get a wallet, guys. I'll send you some.
No, you don't get rich by giving away crypto. I know that.
Thanks for the plug. Thanks.
Paul Rulo says, by all means, rob Peter to pay me. And Vengeance says, the Open Bazaar is a piece of software that accesses a network, which he thinks goes through Tor. But you can buy all kinds of stuff there. It's 99% legal, though. I bought some really nice reusable zip ties there. So first off, that's kind of cool, because I always hate that once you zip tie, it's a break or keep it. I like that. Truth Monster says that he does not trust Jacob Applebaum, the Onion creator. So the creator of the Onion Nest.
Okay.
He thinks it's kind of sketchy. Which would not be super awesome in the long run if, that's
I mean,
what you're going
what I'm looking into now is that, besides the fact that I'm looking for all these crazy things, that's why you keep bringing up that number channel, because I must have spent a day looking for that stuff because they're hard to find. But besides that, you only get 3 hops in your onion route. I want to see how to expand on that. I want to see how to start adding more hops into my onion routing to be able to add increased privacy to this. I also noticed that there was a lot of Bitcoin mixers that you could access through the dark web. And that's great, right? These are the kinds of things that we're going to need as we see regulation closing in here in the United States, especially for places or for people like Paul in New York. Bitcoin could be next on the list for...
I mean, but that would be even stupider how, Josh is literally saying that if you get on the Tor, if you do stuff, that it literally could give authorities an idea of maybe this is something we should look at. And really, it's because you can't go on your Coinbase or you can't go on your whatever, and you're buying, crypto. You're not even doing anything other than buying crypto, but it's that means to the end that you got to use. Really?
I mean, ultimately, there's layers upon layers upon layers of privacy, and then getting some Bitcoin in the beginning is going to be your best bet, because getting some Bitcoin is going to allow you to buy your VPN anonymously, which will then allow you to be able to download and access your Tor browser to then purchase things, use mixing services, things like that.
Yeah, I briefly looked at mixing services the other day. There's Bitcoin Laundry and stuff, and they don't charge huge fees. I mean, there's
right.
It's always the question of the fact that you're handing out your Bitcoin or cryptocurrency and that you're trusting them to send it back to you.
You're also trusting that it actually gets mixed,
But we had talked about, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, that the minimum for the Wasabi wallet is it 0.1 or 0.01?
Yes, I think it was point.
It fluctuates, but I think
it's a lot.
They go by how much the fees are on the network, and then they say what it's worth, and
it's
a lot.
It's still more than your $5-10, right? And ultimately, when we get down here in cryptocurrency, we want things to be able to be done on fractions of a cent, right?
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to pay that kind of taxes or whatever fees. I mean, it's all the same in my mind because you're paying someone. But hey. All right, Benchin says I used 12P?
I2P.
I2P back in the day. I think it's more decentralized since you have to upload your web page, but you don't have to host it yourself.
I2P I have just looked into briefly. It's another alternative to the Tor browser that'll also allow you to access these onion routed addresses.
Okay.
So what are we doing here? We got 45 minutes into this,
Yep.
just a little bit more. Hey, if there's anything you guys want to talk about, if you guys got any questions for me or Josh, if you guys like this episode or don't like this episode, if you guys want to keep hearing more about the deep web, the dark web, any of these markets, any of the other stuff, I do plan on continuing to dive deeper into this stuff, bringing up some more fascinating legal subjects. We keep talking about different things here. There's also a dark web radio, right? So that you could get out there and broadcast and say things that may not be wanting to be said on public radio. If you're not necessarily saying some of the nicest things or the most politically correct stuff, that's another one of the things, is that nowadays, if you're not politically correct and you're not saying the proper things about men and women and genders and sex and stuff, you could potentially lose your job over it. You could lose an entire career over it if the backlash from the social media is too extensive.
I mean, I remember when I told you that I had to have a non-disclaimer thingy, and they literally wanted Facebooks and your emails and your stuff, and it was like, I worked as a cashier at a Ross, and it was like, really? But I mean, yes, like,
right, how free is your social media if you can't actually post what you want on it?
I mean, it was to ensure that, you know, even outside, you were still an upstanding employee. No bar selfies. In the Ross shirt, apparently. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot more. It's just, I really didn't think there was anything when you were all like, oh yeah, the dark web. I was like, oh, okay. And now it's all like, man, maybe there's more. Like Bor. Like, it feels like there could be even more because, yeah, dark Facebook. Like, who wants that? And yet it's there. That's something. Like, what?
I mean, on these dark markets, they have a lot of prescription drugs that maybe you don't have health insurance, you can't go to a doctor to get it, and you know, it could be medicine.
Right, you need some antibiotics, but you don't have the, you know, copay or the whatnot, or
You can't drive or something, and I don't know.
Right? Who knows? I mean, there's 1,000 reasons, but yes, right? Like legitimate stuff, like an antidepressant, because that's not going to do anything for anybody. I mean, or yes.
I mean, you could even think a step further. What if you have a sexually transmitted disease, like you have herpes, and you're trying to get like what avacyclovir? Is that the drug that they take or whatever?
I think so, the antivirus.
To not even want, because you have to go through medical, through work and stuff like that. And it's supposed to be confidential. But then again, we question everything nowadays. Nothing's really confidential. So do you want your place of employment to know this over getting a prescription?
Or maybe you're kind of scummy and you really don't want your wife to know. So there you go. Just saying. Mexico isn't going to tell anybody.
Right, you have to take a road trip every month or two to get some prescriptions.
Oh, no, not okay. But hey, Pension says that he's excited about dark markets and reputation scores. The time is coming when a skilled person can travel anywhere and still find a gig. For me, I'd be looking for diesel mechanic jobs. Or a husband. Ba-dum-bum. Oh, we love you, Vention.
Oh, I know. I'm so glad that you stopped by here and check in, give us a thumbs up and everything, right? Because that's one of the great ways to be able to help out these videos, is giving them the thumbs up, because it puts us in the side of all the other channels. And then, you get new people, right? New subscribers, more thumbs up, gets the whole cycle going. Next thing you know, we've gotten up there to what? When did they send out that plaque? 100,000 subscribers.
Oh, for the love.
Get verified. Hey, make a big difference for Bitcoin. I'm telling you, I'll get out here and I won't promote any scams. I won't be telling anyone to buy any ICOs or get into a BitConnects or get the gun bot or any of those things that were being promoted so heavily last year that eventually lost a lot of people money, right? I mean, the worst thing you could have done, if you listened to me, was bought Bitcoin up near the top.
Maybe some Genesis mining in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. Yep. Nothing too bad.
So what about you, Katie? You've been fairly quiet over there with your debut on YouTube. You know, we do appreciate you coming out here on Bitcoin and Coffee. I beg all the time for people to get out here and interview and conversate with us, because I do think that the future is average, everyday, regular people like us, and us talking about the future. So, you know, kudos and thank you and all of that for getting out here and, you know, spreading the love with us.
Yeah, I really appreciate the frontline boots on the ground effort you guys put forth to promote something you're passionate about, and you just want to share the knowledge and get more people excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, I talk all the time about how there's no marketing department, or else I probably would have went somewhere and signed up to take a volunteer job or whatever to participate. And after a while of not really knowing what to do and listening to all of the YouTubers and getting in a few forums and typing and things like that, I heard Adam Meister saying, hey, you know, I can do this. Anybody can do this. And I was like, you know, I really would like to do that. Like, I would like to get out there and tell people how to avoid some of these scams. I've been sucked into quite a few of them in the beginning myself. And I'm glad that I had the gumption to keep going through here. And I hope I can avoid somebody else from getting into one of these scams.
Yeah. I mean, I just like making a fool out of myself to strangers.
In your limited capacity over there.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no. Yes. Yes, Katie, you have way more balls than me. Thank you. Thank you for being the female face, because this side's never happening. Yes. Yes.
Maybe we'll meet you someday in person.
See, there you go.
Tell anybody what you look like, but
there you go. No pictures, because if you 20 years of Eugene, there are no pictures. I do not take pictures, but man, yes, we should all meet up somewhere.
Yeah, next time you guys come down here to Florida or
we should
Georgia,
meet up somewhere better, like
meet somewhere like a destination.
Yes.
Hey, the Wakanda Festival, I mean, where we're trying to get to, it's still kind of far away. We don't even have our tickets yet. So
Arkansas, come on, you guys, you know.
Well, I mean, even if you just like flew into somewhere down here, we give you a ride the rest of the way. You can camp with us.
man,
we have extra inflatable mattresses. Don't worry. Yeah. All right. Paul Rulo says great discounts on high quality counterfeit money can be found. Kind of makes up for dollar deflation.
Yep, I've seen it.
I know. Yes, I have too. Where it's like it's like that looks like a $20 bill, okay? And how is that $5? Like that seems like a very good rate. It does. See?
I mean, I just wonder how much trouble you'd get in. No, I bought it for the novelty. I mean, until you go to spend it, your intent is not to.
I mean, just like Josh's friend. I mean, deny.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until you got the cuffs on and you're trying to explain it then, right?
It's all like, I mean, it could be anybody. Sorry, no, just deny.
I don't know. The big problem still is always going to be your physical address, right? I had heard that people are actually crossing state lines and getting P.O. boxes in not like the post office, but those like third-party people that have the P.O. boxes.
And,
right. And then they're being notified via an email to a private account like Proton or whatever that there's a package when they know it's there, so they go and pick it up then.
So first off, I mean, either that's a high level of paranoia or you are doing some real intense stuff.
How intense would you be if you were facing possibly 10 to 20 years in prison?
Right, is a 6-hour drive to the, state line.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, here in Massachusetts, thankfully we have, legal weed.
Yeah, you're pretty liberal over there.
Yeah, I like Massachusetts, and I would have no problem facing a judge and saying, yeah, I ordered a gram of marijuana. Like, I'm not going to do anything to me over here. At least not.
I don't know where it came from and if it's bad on their end, but it came here and it's fine. Like,
I wouldn't be too worried about it personally. But you can never be too careful. Gotta think about it.
I wouldn't want to live in that snow up there in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible when it snows.
My mother's family is from Plymouth, So I've been there a few times, and one of them was like, I don't know, a snowstorm of 1992 or something horrible. I just remember it was horrible. Ugh. We always visited in the winter. Okay, that makes no sense to me at all. But I've never seen Massachusetts in the summer or the spring. So all I can tell you is extremely cold and shitty.
I don't know. I
Global
love
warming. It's getting better.
Right? December will be a nice month one of these years.
I don't know. I left upstate New York, Syracuse area when I was 19, 18, and I don't want to go back to it. It's great down here in Florida. I do think that who is it? The Dollar Vigilante is always saying that man was not designed to live in those cold climates.
Right? You should be able to survive outside year round.
Yep, year round.
My parents burn an ungodly amount of firewood in the winter.
Ooh,
It's
right?
terrible.
Yes.
We process firewood all year round.
Oh, see, that's my dream. Okay, so
It just sounds like a lot of work that I would be doing.
yes, it would be mostly Eugene. We always have a small firewood wall, but it's never big enough. And we don't even have a fireplace. It's just for the bonfire because I like fires.
So, Josh, Katie, did you guys have a good time? Did you enjoy conversating about this? Did you guys think that you might want to do this again?
Yeah, totally.
Yay!
Sure. Do you think possibly 2 weeks from now? Because we're still under some strikes on YouTube. We're trying not to rock the boat too much. But after August, I mean, I would appreciate it if any of you viewers are out there, give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you actually did like this episode so that we know that we should keep it going. I want to branch out from our normal topic, try to see if we can't get a little more something going on with the channel. Like we're always saying, like Adam Meister's saying, you got to stay in motion, right? And if I can reach out and talk about other things that are cryptocurrency related as a way to bring in new viewers, to be able to turn them on to Bitcoin, show them that hodling is the best, that Bitcoin's the future, and that right below the surface there's a revolution happening, and the dark markets are actually part of this revolution. You may not agree with everything that's happening, but I'm sure there is an aspect of it that you do agree with. We have liberal freedoms that are taken from us on a daily basis, and we're not even aware of it.
We're just taking back some of the freedom. I mean,
Yes.
it's not supposed to be that big of a deal. And
Well,
yet,
when you have digital money, then you can have digital nations.
all right. I'm getting bit by mosquitoes. Awesome.
Josh, Katie, is there anything else you guys would like to say? I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap this up so Sam can get out of the mosquitoes.
Not at this time.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, you guys are always more than welcome. We're also always looking, if anyone else out there would like to join us and do an interview, come in on either this topic or any of the other topics we talk about around here. You're more than welcome. Hit me up. There's links down below to everything that's going on. You can follow Josh at his channel. You can follow this channel at any of the other social media platforms. There's also email addresses. Josh, I didn't put an email address for you. I didn't know if you wanted to give that out or not, but if you do, we can go ahead and add one to that later, or we can put it on your show notes. That'd be a great way for them to get a hold of you.
You can add my Proton mail on there. I like to keep my Gmail a little private, but yeah, thanks.
I mean, it's not bad enough that Facebook reads it, notifies me of my dentist appointments and everything the day before. It tells me when my auto insurance is due.
I don't have a Twitter either. I just don't do that, but
it's okay. I don't have anything.
That's
Josh,
okay.
So it's fine.
Hey, before you know it, we'll just have to get an onion routed site going so that we can really support ourselves in the proper fashion.
Dark Twitter.
Yeah. Eugene and Josh, onion routed, and we'll be like some crazy letters. .onion.
.onion. All right. RJ says YouTube will block flat earthers. I will miss that comedy. I know. Paul Rouleau says Samantha is the only one with less photographic evidence of her existence than Sasquatch and me. I know. I know. I've actually had people who have known me that have tried to track me down, and that doesn't work out very well, sadly. I think I'm like the private investigator level of needing to buy or delve to find out who and where I'm at.
I don't know. It's coming up on 20 years now, right, Samantha? Oh,
yeah.
no, our son will be 18 here in September.
So it will be 19.
So 19 and a half.
Yep.
And I could say, besides the computer and the personal photos that we have that are there that you won't let me share anywhere else, like, I mean, there's maybe a dozen photos out there in the web.
Yep. I don't know. There's not even a good reason. It's a little bit of everything.
I mean,
it's a
people
little
take that
bit
stuff
of,
seriously.
like,
Facial recognition is a big deal.
I don't like, yes. I don't know. I mean, thanks to an underage drinking charge, they already have my fingerprints. I don't want to give them more.
All right. Is that going to wrap it up for this episode? Oh, there's a super chat
There is
from
a super
Benchin.
chat from Benchin. He says, very interesting subject. Well done.
Well, thank you, Benchin. The beginning was a little rocky. It sounded like I had an echo in my ear. We weren't sure about a few different things. But of course, hey, this is working out well. We're going to keep rolling with it. Look for episode number 2 coming up down the pipelines. We appreciate you coming out here, Josh and Katie. It means a lot to us. I want you guys all to go out there. Have a great weekend. Take care of each other. And remember, keep that Bitcoin safe. Later.
Peace.
Bye, guys.